So today, we're diving into something called Salca. You might know it as a traditional Turkish paste, but this isn't just about flavor. We're going to unpack the science here, the stuff that suggests it could be a real powerhouse for our health.
Which leads to a pretty big question, right? Could a simple paste really transform your meals and your health? I mean, it sounds a little too good to be true, but over the next few minutes, we're going to look at the evidence, and you might be surprised by the answer.
Okay, so what is this stuff, Salca? Well, at its heart, it's actually a pretty simple idea. You take either tomatoes or peppers, and you cook them down for a long time until you get this incredibly rich, concentrated paste. But here's the magic. That process doesn't just make it taste amazing, it actually supercharges the nutrients inside.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to break down the key ingredients in salsa that are doing all the heavy lifting for its potential health benefits. Think of these as the nutrient powerhouses at work.
All right, first up, let's talk about the tomato-based salsa. The star player here is something called lycopene. Now, you've probably heard that name before, but its role here is just fascinating. It's this powerful antioxidant, and it's actually what gives tomatoes that beautiful, vibrant red color.
So, lycopene is this amazing antioxidant that basically goes to war against cell damage. You know, the kind of stuff that can lead to chronic diseases down the line. But here's the really cool part, and this is crucial. Our bodies are way better at absorbing lycopene from cooked tomatoes than from raw ones. That long, slow cooking process for making salsa, it breaks down the tomato cell walls, unlocking the lycopene and making it super easy for our bodies to use. It literally transforms a good ingredient into an incredibly potent health-promoting powerhouse.
Okay, so that's tomatoes. But what about the pepper-based salsas? Well, the star of the show here is a totally different compound, capsaicin. You know it as the thing that gives chili peppers their kick, right? But believe me, its benefits go way beyond just a little tingle on your tongue.
Capsaicin is a real multitasker. For one, it's been linked to reducing inflammation, which is a massive deal for things like arthritis. It can also fire up your metabolism a bit, which might help with weight management. And get this, by improving your circulation, it's a real friend to your heart and your whole cardiovascular system.
And that's not all for pepper-based salsa. It's also packed with a classic immune booster, vitamin C. Now, we all know vitamin C is important, but its role here is pretty significant.
So how does it really work? To help us out? Well, vitamin C actively tells your body to make more white blood cells. And those are the little soldiers that fight off infections. It's literally like calling in reinforcements for your immune system's army, which helps you fight off sickness and get back on your feet faster.
All right, so we've looked at the individual players. Lycopene, capsaicin, vitamin C. Pretty cool, right? But now, let's zoom out a bit and see how this all comes together. How can salsa actually support your whole body? And this is where it all clicks into place. You look at heart health, and you've got potassium and fiber working together to help manage blood pressure and cholesterol. That very same fiber, plus the fact that salsa has a low glycemic index, which just means it won't spike your blood sugar, that helps keep your energy levels nice and stable. And we're not done with fiber. It's also great for your digestion because it feeds the good bacteria in your gut. Heck, even its high water content helps you hydrate it. It's just a perfect example of how one single food can offer so many different benefits.
Okay, so it's easy to get excited about all this, but we've got to pump the brakes for a second and add a little dose of reality. As promising as this all sounds, we need to be really clear about what the research actually says.
And here's the really important thing to understand. While salsa is absolutely loaded with these amazing compounds, most of the scientific research has been done on the ingredients themselves. You know, on tomatoes and peppers, not on salsa as the final product. So, a lot of these benefits are what we call inferred. This is definitely not medical advice, so please talk to a professional for your own health needs. And one more key takeaway. Tomatoes and peppers are nightshades. For most of us, that's totally fine. But if you know you have a sensitivity to nightshades, then you'll want to steer clear of this.
But even with those caveats, the overall takeaway from the source material is super positive. It really frames salsa as being more than just something delicious to eat. It calls it a potential health-promoting powerhouse, all thanks to that rich blend of nutrients.
So, that really brings us back to where we started. When you think about it, that deep, satisfying flavor plus this whole list of potential health benefits, from the lycopene in the tomato version to the capsaicin in the pepper one, is it time to make a little room for salsa in your pantry? Based on everything we've looked at, it's definitely some pretty tasty food for thought.